it's Heather. Thanks for joining me. I hope you're well. Today I've been making these little flower clusters. Well, I say little, that one's ginormous, isn't it? A few smaller ones like these. And I thought I might show you how I did that. So I've made quite a few, as you can see. These ones are nice and dry now. And I added a little bit of bling to some of them, which I really like. And I was using up some scraps. So let me show you some of the bits and bobs that I used to make them. This will be a very quick video, hopefully. So what I was doing was cutting out some of these die cut flower shapes just to use as a base. It sort of evolved as I was making them. I got some handmade paper scraps, some tissue scraps, and some just paper scraps from my bin. Not my bin, my recycled paper bin, where I actually put them in there on purpose. So I'm not fishing stuff out of the bin, honestly. So that's what I'm using, and also I needed some glue, and I dug out my big pack of neutral coloured buttons because I was using the neutral ones on here, and also this lovely bag of bling, very inexpensive little rhinestones from Amazon. And how I made them was by taking some of the tissue and the paper and just tearing them into circles, because I layered them up basically. I did ink around some of them, but most of them I didn't actually. And I did the same with the handmade paper. Now, just a little tip, and you're probably all aware of this anyway, but handmade paper can be quite difficult to tear. So if you want to make sort of more of a circle, is to use some water on a paintbrush and just draw with the water a little circle shape, and that's enough to dampen the paper so that it tears easier. So let's hope this works. And you can do that with tissue paper as well. So that tears a lot easier. So trying to tear a circle out of handmade paper, this mulberry paper, can be quite difficult because it's actually quite a tough fibre, and it makes that gorgeous fluffy edge when you tear it, but it does make it a lot easier if you dampen it first, like that. So taking one of the card shapes, I've got so much of this card, I just die cut a load of these quite large flowers, and then I did use some of my tissue strips as well, but let's just layer one up. What I tried to do was layer up so that I had the different colours in between. Now that one might be a little bit too big. Let's go for some of the small ones. So starting with a flower shape, one of the card shapes. Let's just move that to one side. And picking a few different layers, so a little bit of tissue, maybe some book page, a bit more tissue. I've got to use mulberry now, we've picked it off, so what I might do is get a slightly bigger brown piece, and really simply, just like you would do with any clusters at all, just pop some glue down and then just layer it up. Now, you know, I do like to scrunch my tissue a little bit, just to add a little bit of texture, and then you can alter the size so this sort of fits on your shape. Right, what was I going to do next on that one? I think that's a little bit too big now. I'm just going to take that down a little bit. Bit more glue. I did say I was going to try and keep the colours separate, wasn't I? So we'll use a brown there. So just enough so that you can see a little bit of the layer underneath it, so you can see a little bit of that wording. Then a bit more glue, more pop. That's going to be too big now, so I think I'll just take a little bit of this. It's still wet. But it's a lot harder to tear actually when you don't use the water. Okay, can you hear the merriment outside? I think somebody's having a party. And then finishing it off with a lovely button. So what button shall we go for? We'll use a nice little brown button. Okay. Now actually I probably should have used a stronger glue for that. I do tend to use this one for the embellishment, so I'm going to pop a bit of this on as well, if it will squeeze out. The Cosmic Shimmer is actually quite good, but this stuff is absolutely fantastic. It does tend to hold things. And I'm thinking I might leave it at that. It's actually quite cute, isn't it? You get the idea anyway. Now I did add a little bit of bling around the outside of some of them, but I think I'll just pop just 4 little bits on there. And find some slightly larger rhinestones. And we'll add those. So how are you? Hope you're well and enjoying your weekend. It's currently Saturday afternoon and I've had a nice day. I've done a little bit of crafting, I've done a little bit of cooking, sat in the garden because the weather's been fantastic, and I thought, you know what, if I've got a couple of minutes I'll just make a quick video, because then I've got something nice to upload and say hello to people. And is there another one the same size? Yeah, I think that one is. Let's pop another couple on there in the middle. Change the size. There we go, one there, one there, one there, and one there. And shall we go for this size here, I think. I prefer to have my gems in size order, to be honest. It makes crafting a bit easier rather than having to figure out which size you want to use. But the thought of having to go and sort all these out, it's just, that doesn't thrill me really, so I think I'll just leave them in the packet as they are. Now, the problem is I can't figure out which size they are now unless they're together. But that's one of the bigger ones. It might be that one. That will do. And maybe, should we put one in the middle? Is that going to look a bit odd? We'll see if that pings off when it's dry, because they do sometimes, don't they? Even with a really good glue, if it gets knocked. But there we go. Anyway, before I start rambling on, so basically start off with a flower shape, but then it's just torn tissue, torn paper, a little bit of mulberry paper, and a button and a bit of bling. And that does make a really nice little embellishment. That one's quite raised, but the buttons actually, in the main, they're not that big. So I would happily put that in a journal because I like raised embellishments. So there you go. So that was my fun today, just having a bit of a play with some scraps, my little scrap busting session. And I've also built a few items to go in a sort of neutral coloured journal when I get round to using them. So I'm going to leave it there. That was a quick video, wasn't it? So thanks very much for joining me. Hope you're having a great weekend, and I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not a subscriber already, and click that notification bell if you want to see, if you want to be notified when I upload future videos. And feel free to leave a comment below, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.